Today is Tuesday, September 8th, 2022. It is also day 213 of Blender, and today I'm going to do a text animation, but I was inspired. I was like thinking, I was using like ambient like CG materials for the past few days, and I was like, wait, can I use these like on text animations? So what I did was I downloaded this Rock 35 from ambientcg.com. The link will always be like in the logs, which is in the description box below. But anyway, I downloaded that, so I'm planning on using that as a material for my text animation in Blender here. So I'm going to go to geometry nodes, hide the spreadsheet, click on new for a new geometry node system, disconnect the input from the output, and then what I'll do is I'll do Shift A and I'll search for a string to curves node, and that's just going to literally be my text. And I'm going to connect that to the output so I'm able to see it over here in the viewport, but I can't see anything yet because I haven't added my text yet, my string, which is the same thing as a text. So I'll add that. So maybe I'll try doing something like rock bottom to kind of fit the theme. And then what I'll do is, let me think. Okay, so I'll do Shift A, get a transform node to just rotate on the x-axis 90 degrees. So that's just telling Blender, hey, I want the text to move 90 degrees along the x-axis, which is the red axis. And I know that it's the red axis because of these little toggles over here. Okay, so then I'll do Shift A and get a fill curve node to give it some faces, and I'll change the fill type to n-gons, and then I'll do Shift A and get an extrude mesh node, put that in here and make sure that it's like 0.1, and that just gives some thickness to the letters. But if I go in the back, I see that they're hollow, so the fill didn't really reach the back. So to fix this, I'll do Shift A and get a join geometry node, and it's already going to include the extrude mesh. Just make sure that it includes the fill curve node as well, and then that should work there. And then the last thing would be to do Shift A and set material and put that in there, and then go here and make sure you just select the first material, and then go to shading. But before that, maybe try to save it so it doesn't crash. What's today's date? 9/8/22. Make sure that's in desktop, Blender, blends. Okay, save Blender file. All right, go to shading. And then at this point, this is where I'm going to try doing the thing. So I'm going to click on Principled BSDF. And as I'm clicking it, I'm going to do Control Shift T. And if that doesn't work, you have to go to Edit Preferences, and then you have to go to Add-ons and make sure the Node Wrangler add-on is on. So once that's on, it should work, and you have to be clicking on Principled BSDF. So Control Shift T, and then I'm just going to go, I didn't even wait. When I downloaded the thing, I didn't even open it. So when you download, just click on it. What I do is I select everything, move it to my desktop, go to my desktop, and then create a new folder called whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it rock. And I'm going to select these and put it in here in the rock folder. And then back over here, I'm going to go to my desktop, and then the rock folder should appear. I'm going to click on it, select the first whatever thing, and what is this? Okay, and then shift select the last one, and then principal texture setup, you should select that, and then just wait, and hopefully it doesn't crash. And let's see what that ends up looking like and see if that actually works. Interesting. So it doesn't really have the effect that I wanted it to, which is interesting, but it did at least give the color, but it doesn't affect the geometry, which is, well, obviously that makes sense because it wouldn't actually, what do you call it? Change the geometry because it's just being applied to the mesh. So what I think would be a better fit would maybe be one of these, like pillow textures. Let's see, the ones that I use, like the cloth ones. Let me try to see which ones. Oh, fabric. There we go. So something like maybe this one. I'll try to download the 4K PNG version and then wait for that. And while that's happening, let me just delete this rock folder because I don't need that anymore. All right, and then I'm gonna just repeat the same thing, move this to my desktop, create a new folder, call it, I don't even know, wood. And then you move all of those textures into here, and then let's see what that gives us. Again, I'm just trying to kind of play around. So let me do Control Z to get rid of these textures here. Okay. And then as I click Principled BSDF, I'm going to do Control Shift and T. And then I'll select the wood folder, select all of these, set that up, and then see what that gives me. It's giving me like an interesting texture, but it's not exactly what I wanted. And I think it has to do with the fact either like the UV unwrapping, or maybe it has to do with the fact that it's still a geometry node, and maybe the result would change if it was a mesh, because right now this isn't applied. Like if I go to modifiers, I have the geometry node. So I don't know, but I doubt that's the reason. It's just because, I don't think it's wrapped, like UV unwrapped correctly, but it is a nice texture. And then maybe if I can find a font for it, let's go to font.com and see what we can do here. Um, Maybe this one. So I can download this font over here and just move it to my desktop. Let me move that over here. And then let me go back into geometry nodes, go to the string to curved node and click, just select the folder here. And then just click on that and open the font. And that's what it's gonna end up looking like. If I go back to layout, I'll be able to see it if I go to render preview, how it's gonna look like. And I think that's pretty nice. Yeah, so I guess I'll stay with that. I'll do Shift A, mesh plane, scale that up, not that much, by pressing S and then G to grab, and then X to grab along the X axis. So G and X at the same time. And again, X axis is the red one, so I just moved it a little bit to the right. I'm going to go into edit mode, go to edge select at the top left corner, select the back edge. I'm going to press E to extrude the edge and then Z to extrude along the Z axis, which is the blue axis. And then back into object mode, I'm going to go to modifiers and then add a bevel. And that's just going to make a backdrop once I increase the amount in the segments. And then I'm going to just left click on the arrow, and I'm going to click on apply, and I'm going to right click shade smooth on the plane so that the lines get removed, and then I'm going to press S and then X at the same time to scale that along the X axis. And then let's see, what else would I want to do? Yeah, no, that's it. And then at this point, I would just do maybe move the lighting a bit, go to object data properties, change it to a sun, change the strength to 3, and then do G to grab and then Y to grab along the Y axis, and then R to rotate kind of towards here. And then let's see, then I would do Control Alt Numpad 0 just to align my camera to the view. And if that doesn't work, go to Edit, Preferences, Inputs, and make sure Emulate Numpad is on. And if that doesn't work, make sure you have a camera. If you don't, do Shift A and add a camera over here somewhere. All right, so let me do that. All right, so that's looking good. So again, in order to get out of this view, press the middle mouse button, and to go back into the view, press numpad 0. And it's looking okay. So I don't know if I want to change the background color of the, what do you call it? The backdrop. Ooh, just kind of play around with that maybe. And then I could always just, I can move the lighting so that it affects the letters a little bit better. So back numpad 0, kind of look at how that's looking like. I think that's cute. And then maybe just change what it says. I don't know. Um, I could always say like nature or something, something relevant. Bloom. No, that looks ugly. How about nature? No, looks ugly too. How about rock bottom, just like we had it? Doesn't really make sense, but okay, so that's pretty much it. So now to actually render the text animation. It's not an animation, it's just a render. So I'm gonna do render and then just render the image. That's literally it. That's it. Yep. Um, yep, that's the final result. So I'm just gonna go to image, save as, and then I like to save as with the dates. So I'll do 9/8/22 and then R for render. And then I always have a folder somewhere in here. Save as image, and that's it for today. Bye.